Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Our top story: U.S.-China trade talks are heating up again in London. President Trump is renewing his push to open up China, but adds that dealing with Beijing is, in his words, not easy.
And if we don't open up China, maybe we won't do anything.
As Chinese officials remain largely silent on the trade talks, Huawei's founder is offering rare public remarks on the U.S. chip bans. A major deportation sweep: over 120 Chinese nationals flown out of the U.S. in one of the largest removals in years. It's part of Homeland Security's nationwide crackdown on illegal immigration. A Chinese researcher is arrested at Detroit airport, accused of smuggling sensitive biological materials from Wuhan. The case raises fresh concerns over U.S. national security. And COVID-19 cases in China have more than doubled in just 1 month, but residents say the situation on the ground is even worse. Day 2 of high-stakes U.S.-China talks, with both sides eyeing their next moves amid rising tensions and a renewed push from President Trump.
And we want to open up China. And if we don't open up China, maybe we won't do anything. But we want to open up China. It'll be a great thing for China, a great thing for the rest of the world.
U.S.-China trade talks continued into a second day Tuesday in London, following 6 hours of negotiations between top officials on Monday. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick called the talks going well, while Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described them as a good meeting. But on the other side, Chinese officials have mostly stayed quiet about the talks so far. Tuesday's discussions focus on easing restrictions around rare earth minerals and advanced technologies. After a temporary trade truce last month in Geneva, both Washington and Beijing appear to be doubling down on export restrictions for leverage. China is tightening its grip on rare earth, while the U.S. is eyeing ethane as a bargaining chip. Ethane is a key ingredient for making plastics and is heavily imported by China. At the same time, the White House is ramping up limits on cutting-edge tech. Last month, the Commerce Department issued a global ban on certain AI chips, especially those made by Huawei, the Chinese telecom giant with ties to China's military. Meanwhile, Huawei's founder, Ren Zhengfei, spoke to Chinese state media on Tuesday. He said the U.S. is exaggerating his company's capabilities. Speaking about the banned AI chips, Ren said they are, quote, still a generation behind U.S. technology. Some analysts say Ren's remarks signal growing pressure on Beijing. They point to both domestic economic challenges and U.S. strategies targeting China. The high-stakes talks are expected to continue through at least Wednesday. More than 120 illegal Chinese nationals were deported from the U.S. last week, one of the largest removals to China in recent years. The move is part of the Department of Homeland Security's ongoing push to enforce immigration laws. Here's more.
I said yesterday that the deportees were between ages of 19 and 68. They were placed on a special high-risk charter flight after receiving final removal orders from the detention facilities. The agency says that many of those deported were convicted of serious crimes, including murder, lewd acts with a minor, human trafficking, rape, and drug trafficking. ICE says the operation both enhanced public safety and strengthened national security.
The recent arrests included 96 males and 26 females, all with final removal orders coming from ICE detention centers nationwide. Back in January, ICE carried out its 5th large-scale deportation flight to China. They sent back Chinese nationals who were ordered to leave and no longer had legal grounds to stay in the U.S. And that's all for today's China in Focus on YouTube. Catch the full episode every Tuesday on Ganjing World. Coming up, OpenAI is sounding the alarm. China-linked groups are hijacking AI tools for covert attacks, from fake social media blitzes to password hacks across the U.S. We dig into the latest reports. To watch, simply click the link in the description box down below or search China in Focus at ganjingworld.com.